this Hungarian man. Be drafted into WW2, get captured near Krakow by Russians, be ill so they send you to a hospital in Russia. None of the Russian doctors know Hungarian and think you're just speaking gibberish. Be sent to a mental hospital, stay there for decades without any conversation. Eventually a Slovakian comes around and recognizes that you're speaking an actual language. Finally get released in the year 2000. That's like 60 years later. You're telling me for 60 years they did not realize he was just speaking Hungarian? I don't even know what to say. He was the very last POW to ever be released in WW2. He supposedly did not have a single conversation for 50 years. Can't even make this stuff up. You took my island, says Argentina. Now I'm gonna starve. Meanwhile, population of Argentina is 17 per squared kilometer. As if Argentina doesn't already have plenty of space to go live in. I know there was more than just that to the Falkland Wars, but a lot of this territory does only have like 100,000 people living in it. POV, you are a musically gifted boy in 18th century Italy. Fun fact, my grandma used to regularly tell me she's going to turn me into a soprano if I had done something bad. That's basically a reference this meme is making. Or how different these videos would be after that. Maybe not that different, my voice isn't particularly low. You and your bullies were driven by farmers and their pitchforks. I'm sorry, says America in responding to China. I don't remember any of that. You don't remember? The day the United States graced the Korean Peninsula was the most important victory in your history. For me, it was just a regular Tuesday. Oh, that's why he doesn't remember. Gonna assume he's not gonna remember the Vietnam War either, but that's just a guess. Apparently the Korean War is a big topic in schools in China. I do remember they barely taught us about this. It was just like a small footnote, yet things went down. Squidward fact number 2846. Carrots were originally white or purple. What? They were bred to be orange in the Netherlands during the 17th century to show support to this family. Now orange carrots are the norm and the white and purple variants are in fashion as heritage varieties. How did I never know this? I mean, I don't know a lot about food, but I figured I should have probably realized this already. They literally just kind of look like an eggplant or something. The more colors you consume, the more nutrients your body gets. Is that real? So you ate your prime minister? You guys were probably starving because of him, right? Nope, says the Netherlands, just didn't like the guy. And that just makes the story even more crazier. Not only do we meme the fact that the Netherlands ate him, but it's not like they were hungry at all. They just did it because it was a part of their sick fantasy. Early 1800s Wars Participation Award. Oh, they're enjoying this. About time they finally get the recognition. Time to go a little crazy. Meanwhile, it's actually just the very small war of 1812. And considering all the other early 1800s wars going on at that time, yeah, not really the biggest deal. I mean, this is both Canada and the US that kind of like to celebrate this thing. I remember learning so much about the War of 1812, but I don't remember learning almost anything about the Korean War. Considering the giant Napoleonic wars were happening in Europe, also all the chaos that was happening in Latin America for their independence against Spain. But yeah, I mean, I guess I understand why the US has to teach about this. Gotta talk about our White House getting burned down. For your information, I'm a WW2 tank expert. Oh yeah, then name 6 German tanks. Panzer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's on us. We set the bar too low. Yeah, they really just walked into that one, didn't they? I'm also a tank expert. These are the only ones I know. Yes, you are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of Allied Power. What? This is outrageous. It's unfair. How can I be fighting the Germans but not be an Allied Power? Take a seat, co-belligerent. I mean, in fairness, Italy did start off as an Axis power. I mean, did you really think you could just switch? Italy's actually the opposite of Anakin. They started bad, then they became good. Anakin was good, bad, and then I guess at the very end, good again. Finding out that there was a general nicknamed General Butt Naked. That's hilarious. Finding out why he had that nickname. Oh no. I'm not looking this up. No, thank you. Started off funny, then it just became horrifying. A plague is raging in Europe. Meanwhile, Isaac Newton, haha, colors. Can't be hurt by a plague when I'm just staring at colors. This man had it all figured out. You are an anthropomorphic embodiment of Germany during WW1. A U-boat has launched a torpedo at this RMS. It's illegally carrying munitions despite being a civilian ship. If you do not pull the lever, it will sink, destroying the munitions, but also oofing over 1,000 citizens and outraging the currently neutral United States. If you pull the lever, the torpedo will miss the boat. However, the ship will continue to illegally supply Britain with munitions. Oh, the choices Germany during WW1 had. Kind of seems like the US and Britain was just waiting for this moment. What do you even do in this situation? Oh my goodness, it's the Iranian Navy. What happened to them? They damaged an American destroyer, and the U.S. had a proportional response. Yes, a proportional response. Honestly, the more I read about Iranian-U.S. relations, the more I realize why they just despise us with every fiber of their being. Me, how long ago did WW2 start? My history teacher. Oh my goodness, it's the only time we're gonna be able to use this meme. Has it finally actually been 84 years? I mean, I guess it depends on when you say World War II technically started. A lot of people have different dates. 1939 minus 2023 equals, yeah, it's been 84 years now. That's crazy. Oh, this was posted on September 1st, the invasion of Poland. 49 states and 525 electoral votes as Reagan looks on. Meanwhile, Mondale with only DC and Minnesota. It was pretty one-sided, that's for sure. It was literally like 1984, like literally, I'm not joking. POV, you went to the Colosseum on your day off, and the Emperor just ordered your entire section to be fed to the lions because he's bored. Wrong place at the wrong time, I guess you could say. Man, that Emperor sure is a swell guy. Britain splitting up Greater London into new administrative districts. Meanwhile, Britain splitting up the Middle East into new administrative districts. And this image of Patrick Star here works really well because there really was like too many blocky things, way too many straight lines. Meanwhile, look at these districts of London. You can tell they definitely put a lot more thought into this, that's for sure. The USA invaded the Middle East for national security and oil. Nah, how about the USA invaded the Middle East to steal top secret Middle Eastern cuisine recipes so that even Montanians in BFE can eat delicious shawarma. Oh, was that our motivation all along? Why didn't they just say that in the first place? I'm sure they would have given it to us without having to do all that stuff. Goebbels depicts the perfect German as tall, muscular, blonde, ultra handsome Chads. Meanwhile, also Goebbels. I can't believe they even put him in this little cartoon too. Why were all the high-ranking no-no Germans like this? I don't understand what was going on. Dancing plague the first few days. Yo, this is fun. Haha, yo, watch this move. Dancing plague during the first few weeks. It's still pretty fun. I'm getting a bit tired. Then 1 month later, yeah, they both didn't make it. One of the most horrifying plagues I've ever read in history. They literally danced until they were dead. And it wasn't just like 2 people, there was like 400 of them. Somebody once told me the world was gonna roll me. Meanwhile, 1999 America. And it wasn't like they were going to escape this lyrical tune by 2000. It was gonna come back harder than ever 2 years later. The myth of a consensual alliance expansion. I consent, says NATO, and so does Eastern Europe. But wait a second, the Soviet Union doesn't. Isn't there somebody you forgot to ask? I mean, it's funny, this is a history meme, yet it is still very much affecting us to this day. This meme is aged like fine wine. Just gotta replace the Soviet Union flag with Russia. And this is part of the reason for that. Declare war on NATO and the rest, or draw 25 cards. Russia just ain't gonna want to do that, especially because NATO just continues to get bigger and bigger. They're really, really not gonna want to do that. The Vietnamese realizing they're fighting the Waffen SS instead of the French. When does it end for Vietnam? I guess it just doesn't. They had to fight everybody out here. Apparently during the French Indochina War, France did deploy some of these Germans. Although I think Vietnam had their own Germans possibly too. At least they were supported by them. The Dutch realizing the Spanish couldn't swim during the 80 Years' War. That seems like a pretty big weakness Spain would have, especially because they had the Spanish Armada. They're always out at sea. Maybe you should know how to swim. POV, the frozen man you picked up on the side of the road and thawed out freaking exploded. This doesn't even seem like something that I even want to look up. There's actually a great YouTube video about this if you want to know more. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Civil War, we have a whole lot of things going on. The Vatican, allegedly. Israel here first, but then also Israel after 1968. The US, the Soviet Union, and the UK on one side. Meanwhile, West Germany, China, and France on the other. And then all sorts of different African powers involved. Haiti. Okay, Jesus Christ, I don't know what's going on here. And I don't even think I can try to make sense of it. Maybe it's best that we just don't. Oh yeah, when it is illegal to expose the illegal things the government does. Wow, talk about an American moment. We can do illegal things, but don't tell other people they're illegal, because that's illegal. Denmark's flag, a flag that's been around for supposedly 800 years, never been changed, never been altered. Meanwhile, there's the flag of Cornwall, been around for over 1,500 years, never changed, never altered, truly the oldest flag around. I guess when this topic comes up, everyone just talks about like national flags. That's why Cornwall is often looked over. This is saying it was officially started in the 1890s. Who knows how long it's actually been? I guess that's the issue. Denmark's actually had that flag officially for 800 years. Well, regardless, ultra rare Cornwall cameo. Europeans, when finding out that Napoleon's ultimate punishment would be live the rest of his life on a tropical paradise island with servants, no rent, and free meals. This is such a great meme because can you imagine? Put yourself in the perspective of these people. A person who's just been ravaging your continent for like a decade plus, who's probably responsible for like millions of oofing, and he gets to live on a tropical paradise? What about me? Why don't I get that? I think I need to take over France first or something. POV, you're the king of France in disguise on the run from the Republic, but the local peasants recognize you because your face is on every bill note. There was a French king that once tried to escape, but you're kind of recognizable, even if the internet and TV wasn't discovered back then. Italian Air Force, Italian Army. Then there's the Italian Navy. They actually look big and scary, which this shouldn't really surprise people that the Italians have a pretty alright navy. They're like a giant peninsula. They kind of have to have a nice navy. Having something glossed over during WW2 talks about Italy. Mexico, we have adopted a new constitution. Texas, okay. Also, we've banned slavery. You what? Oh, well, that, I guess, changes everything. I don't think Texas is going to want to be a part of Mexico anymore. And big thanks to my patrons. Destiny Ducker 9000. Sebi, if you hear this, I love you. Drew now.
I am the kidnapper.
aPhatNarwhal. Carmel
since
S.
no one pays
InquisitorXarius. KirinoIsBestGirl. LuxembourgLover. Robert
E.
RyeThePie.
TheGreatRalphy.
The Mexican
Twickenhamster.
JohnDenver.
GoodOldRyah.
and Jack Traven's annoying friend.
And why am I doing this?